Hi, my name is Gayatri and I'm going to show you how to create a new project, how to add a new file to the project, and compile and test a very short piece of code. So the first thing you're going to see when you start Visual Studio, whether it's 2012 or 13, is the start page. You can just leave the start page alone, or you can close it by clicking on that X there. And we are going to start out by saying File, New Project. We want to create a new project. And we want to make sure we have Visual C++ selected on the left hand side. And we also want to make sure we have Win32 console application. We are going to create applications for the console window. So that's the one that we want, and we're going to give it a name at the bottom. And just call it hello. And we're going to say OK. Creates the project, and before it does that, we have another window where we can do a few more things. We want to go to application settings, and we want to make sure we create an empty project. And this way it will make sure there are no extra stuff in there that we don't really need for this class. So make sure you select empty project and you click finish. This will create a project folder into which we are going to add a source code. So if you notice on the right hand side, you should have all these folders, but they should all be empty. There should be nothing in them if you did your project right. We want to add a source file. That's all we are going to be doing throughout this term. We'll be just adding source files. So I want to right click and I'm going to say add new item. I'm going to add a new file and it's going to be a CPP file. So select that. And down there we're going to give it a name. It names everything source.cpp. Don't leave it to that name, so then you won't know what you're doing. So in this case, I'm going to call it Hello World, because I'm going to write a very small program that says Hello World. And then we're going to add it. So make sure you name your files appropriately. And then I'm going to start typing my code. The first thing you're going to do is write some comments. So I'm going to say this program outputs some text to the console. So for right now, that's good. Then we have some standard header files that we need to add. So we're going to add those, include IO stream. IO stands for input output, stream stands for data stream. So it is a standard header file, a library file that includes all the input output statements that we need to read and write data from the console and to the console. We also need another statement called using namespace std, which again helps us with input output. And then we are going to enter our program. Every C++ program has an entry point called main. Notice all lowercase. And an open and close parenthesis says it's a function, and the int says it's an integer. So all we need to know at this point in time is that main is a function, and we must have a main in every program. Then we're going to go inside. The curly bracket says this is the body of my code. You must have an open one and a closed one, matching closing one. And all I'm going to say here is cout, which is console out, less than, which is the extraction operator, and what we want to output to my console. Notice it goes inside double quotes, so anything inside the double quotes gets printed as is. And then we have a statement called return 0, which says my function is done and is going to return the number 0 to say that it ran successfully. Now to test this, to build it and compile it, we're going to simply do F7, or you can go to your build menu and you can do build solution. Notice it says that's the same as F7. And in the bottom in your output window, it should show you if there are any errors. And Control F5 will run it. Notice it says hello world, and the press any key to continue comes up automatically from the system. But notice that they're all stuck together and it's really not very clear. So you can come here after you press any key, that window closes. And after the hello world, before we end with the semicolon, which is like a period, which is a statement terminator, the semicolon, the end L says add a new line at the end of outputting my hello world. So if you build it now and if you run it, it looks a little different. The press any key to continue, notice, has gone to the next line. So as you type code and test it, make some changes and see what the output looks like. That'll give you an idea of how the changes relate to the output.